Hello, this video is going to discuss the various criteria you can use when using Chaikin Analytics Screener. The criteria are found on this panel on the left. We're going to start with the stock universe. The stock universe tells the screener what stocks we should screen for. You can screen for all rated stocks, which is any stock that we have a rating on, or you can look for the Russell, the S&P 500, growth, value, different industries, 100% revenue, all the way down to individual sectors. When you click select a sector or select an industry, another menu will appear, and then you can go through and choose the sector or industry that you would like to specifically screen. Next, the power gauge rating. You can screen for current power gauge ratings, whether you want to see very bullish, bullish, neutral, plus, neutral, neutral minus, bearish, and very bearish. Or you can look for power gauge ratings that have changed, whether they have changed today or this week, or maybe the ones that haven't changed at all, but have been bullish for some time. Remember, when you screen for a bullishly rated stock, it will include very bullish in the results. Also, when you screen for bearish, it will include very bearish in the results. However, if you screen for very bullish, you will only see very bullish. And if you screen for very bearish, you will only see very bearish. Next, you can screen for up to 3 of the individual power gauge factors. These are the 20 factors that go into our power gauge rating. Again, you can pick up to 3 of them. They're all listed here. Or you can choose the category as a whole. So if you just wanted to look for strong earnings categories or technicals, you could. Again, you can look at them based on what they are currently or whether they have turned recently. Next is performance. This screens for stocks with certain performances over a set amount of time. These are the individual time frames: 1 week, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, the entire year, or year to date. Once you've selected the time frame, you can then determine whether or not you want to screen for stocks that are up and by how much, or down and by how much. You can also look for ones that are at their highs or lows or near their highs or lows, regardless of whether or not they've moved very much recently. Finally, under performance, you can search versus the return of your individual stocks against the SPY. The SPY is the ticker symbol for the ETF that tracks the S&P 500 index. And you can have the same time periods and look for the same moves. Next are the technicals. There are a number of technical indicators on Chaikin Analytics. First is price level. You can look for stocks that are currently overbought or oversold based on our overbought, oversold indicator at the bottom of your charts. You can search for stocks based on their long-term trend, whether they're above it or below it. You can also search for stocks based on where they are in the Chaikin bands, the white dotted lines that go across your chart. The EMA 21 stands for Exponential Moving Average 21 period. That is the middle line of your Chaikin bands, and you can search for stocks that are above or below that line, or the double EMA. You can also search for ones that have crossed over those lines recently. You can also do screens for money flow, whether it is currently strong, weak, or very weak, as well as look for those that have had persistency over a certain number of months, 1 month, 3 month, or 6 months. You can screen based on relative strength. Relative strength is the measure of your stock's performance against the overall market. Has it been performing strong or very strong versus the market, or weak or very weak versus the market? Or you can screen based on that relative strength over a certain amount of time. You can do the same with relative volume by looking for heavy volume or light volume. Under fundamentals, you can search based on market cap, micro cap, small cap, mid cap, and large cap individually, or by grouping some of those together, the small and the mid caps, or the mid and large caps. You can also screen based on a dividend yield. whether the dividend yield is positive at any amount or for specific dividend yield percentages in that stock. You can screen based on earnings date, whether they reported today or yesterday, tomorrow, or within the week, upcoming or within the week that just occurred. Also under fundamentals is beta. Beta is a measure of a stock's average move against the overall market. A stock with a beta of 1 will on average move the same amount as the overall market, which is measured by the S&P 500. We give you 3 choices: low beta, those which move on average less than the overall market does; beta between 1 and 2, which are stocks that are slightly more volatile than the market; and high beta, stocks that on average move twice as much as the S&P 500. Finally, you can search based on our Chaikin Analytics signals. You can look for any buy signal, any sell signal, or just have it return any signals in the stocks you're looking for. Or you can search based on individual signals. Remember to pick the time frame that you want it to search for: today, within the past 2 days, or within the past week. Once you have set all these criteria, click the green screen button and you will see your results pop up in this space over here on the right.